Okay, it was a big week for comics, and that's what I'm here to talk about, is comics. Kind of get my mind off some things that are on my brain. I tested out the new look for this thing. I wasn't happy with it, so I'm going to try it again in the next couple days. Anyway, I got 6 things today. I think I got 6 things today. Yes, I did. So in the first bit, we're going to talk about the one Marvel book I got, and some other things. And then the second bit, I'm going to talk about Batman, Superman, and one of them. Anyway, first up is Avengers #4, Old Man Tony, as it was described. This is part 4 of the Brian Michael Bendis, John Romita Jr. Next Avengers arc. Next Avengers, I think it's what it's called. Yeah, who knows? Anyway, this is Bendis' new Avengers team, and this is kind of meant to be the flagship Avengers book. Too bad it doesn't feel like it. He's got a pretty good core team. I mean, it's Iron Man, Tony Stark, Thor, Bucky, Captain America at your core, and then you've got Hawkeye, Spider-Woman, Spider-Man, Wolverine, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, the big hook here is that the Avengers have kind of included in by Kang the Conqueror that bad things are happening in the future, and it's the Avengers' descendants that are causing it. And so the big point at this issue is that at this point the team is split, with one team going into the future with Captain America, Iron Man, Novar, and somebody else. Wolverine, my bad. And then the rest of them have all stayed in the present to kind of deal with all the problems that are popping up there. So you've got these 2 concurrent storylines going on, and this issue was a lot better than the last one. The last one, to me, was just chock full of really, really unnecessary and cheesy humor. I understand that Spider-Man is supposed to be wisecracking, but there's a point at which you stop wisecracking and you deal with the planet-ending problem that's at hand. So, I mean, there's been some minor humor in here, but it's really, really toned back here than it was in the previous issues. And, like I said, it's a big step up, but reading this just makes me really upset that Secret Avengers was sold out last week. There's your real Avengers book. Anyway, it's not bad. I mean, this arc is not going to be, I think, something that's remembered down the line. I mean, we've got really, and the art by John Romita Jr. is still just I'm very hit or miss about it, and I'm not really digging this very much at all. But it's definitely not bad. I just don't think it's wowing me. So it's not. It's again. It's trucking along okay. I mean, like I said, this has not really been something that's lighting me on fire. I'm not like, oh god, Avengers. But I mean, it's for Bendis fans. I'm sure it's good. It's a constant high seller. It's not bad. Like I said, this issue to me is a big step up over the last one. I mean, last issue we had tons of unnecessary humor. We had unbelievable situations, and Bendis had a lot of stuff that he could have worked with, but he just didn't, I think. So he kind of gets back into it at this issue. We have the future team actually meets a future Tony Stark and a future Bruce Banner, actually at this point still called the Maestro. So we're getting some interesting things with the team in the future, while the team in the past is dealing with kind of time unraveling itself back there. So it's got a lot of great action in it. I mean, there's a lot of big fight scenes in this. Thor fighting giant invaders from Mars. I mean, it's not going to happen much anywhere else. And I mean, Romita Jr. handles the action sequences pretty well. I just don't like his overall style. Not on this book at any rate. So, Avengers, and like I said, it's okay. It's worth, I guess, if you're really big into Bendis and Romita Jr., you can check it out and you'll be happy. Anyway, moving on forward to something that's awesome. Action Comics 892 by Paul Cornell. Pete Woods, and assisting on this issue is Pierre Perez. Harry Perez, my bad. And we actually have a second feature in this book, kind of a one-off, that features Superboy by Jeff Lemire of Sweet Tooth fame and Pierre Gallo, who assisted with Last Stand on... No, Brainiac and Legion of Superheroes in the Last Stand on New Krypton bit. And it's... I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, this is continuing Paul Cornell's Action Comics run, and this didn't disappoint. This has Lex Luthor with Deathstroke leading the way, and with his Lois Lane robot also along there, encountering what he believes to be residual Black Lantern energy. And the thing is the closer you get to this thing, any emotions you exhibit kind of overtake you. So Deathstroke ends up kind of losing his mind, and everyone eventually kind of succumbs to this until they kind of get a full analysis of it, and it changes the course of it. Anyway, it's really quite good. This one's a lot of action, so I mean, if you were worried about it not having any big action sequences, this one's chock full of them. It's up in the Arctic where they find this first thing, and Luthor, I'm really, 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 really enjoying Paul Cornell's take on Lex Luthor. He's really reminding everyone just why Lex Luthor is such a threat. I mean, he's very analytical in these stories. He's almost to the point where when Deathstroke's attacking, he almost doesn't want to attack him because he's analyzing the situation. He's being very analytical about the situation, even as he's engaging Deathstroke, after Deathstroke kind of loses his mind to the black energy. So Paul Cornell is really, really nailing Deathstroke, and so this scene actually does happen, unlike previous ones. This one actually does take place. And the next issue, it's either this one or 894, is going to have Death from Sandman show up with the consent of Neil Gaiman, which is kind of cool. So definitely check this out for the Paul Cornell bit, because this leads into the segue for next issue. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but this is just fantastic, top-notch stuff at its best. Paul Cornell is one of the greatest writers in all of comics. I cannot express that enough. Action Comics number 892 is no exception. And like I said, in the back, we actually have a preview, sort of the upcoming Superboy book. Written by Jeff Lemire, like I said, of Sweet Tooth, and he actually draws and writes Sweet Tooth, and he's actually draws and writes Sweet Tooth, and then he's got two additional things. He's got a co-feature. He will have actually the Superboy ongoing book, and then he has an Atom co-feature currently going on in Adventure Comics, which I hope to talk about one day. Anyway, this is really just kind of a taste. It's a teaser almost. It's like 8 pages. It's not much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 pages. And Pierre Gallo is definitely an artist who's still kind of getting his bearings. I mean, this is by no means bad. I've seen a lot worse, but there's really a few moments where you're kind of, his proportions are just a little bit off. And he's got some other characters in here. We've got some members of the Teen Titans. Kid Flash is here, Raven's here, Beast Boy's here, and some of the characters from the very, very short-lived Jeff Johns Francis Manapul run show up here as well. So I have a feeling that Jeff Lemire might be taking a few of those things that Jeff Johns might have done with Adventure Comics and seeding them into his run. So we'll see about that. And I mean, in this issue, they're fighting Earth Golems. So I mean, it's really kind of strange. And at the end, Superboy kind of goes crazy and destroys them all, and then finds out that Lori, Luthor, and some other people are kind of kidnapped in this weird tunnel that's kind of been messed with. And then at the end of the series, Phantom Stranger shows up and issues a warning, because that's all the Phantom Stranger does, is issue warnings and crap like that. So, Action Comics 892, Paul Cornell really wowed me. Jeff Lemire, I guess this was supposed to just be kind of a hook, make you kind of want to check out the ongoing book. I don't know if it succeeded. I don't think it did. I'm probably going to check out the Superboy book, at least initially, just to see what's going on and everything. But, just said, for the Paul Cornell alone, check out Action Comics 892. There was a guy trying to say that we're more interested in the backup feature than the main feature. Yeah, right. Paul Cornell for the win. Anyway, I'm going to conclude this segment by talking about another one of my favorite books, The Legion Superheroes. And I, of course, since I'm a lame-ass person, picked up the Jim Lee variant featuring Mon-El. What did I pay for that? I paid $10 for that bastard. And then Legion 4. And it says at the top, The Great Darkness returns, because in the previous issue, Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl had gone to Avalon they found out that their children were on Avalon, basically. And Avalon used to be this medieval kind of world that Mordru, the Great Wizard, used to hang out at. And they basically go to that place and they find out that there's shrines to Darkseid, which for the Legion is a big deal, because he was the main bad guy in the Great Darkness saga. And I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, don't mind me. And actually, the Great Darkness Saga is going to be coming out in a really cool oversized hardcover in November, I think. So it's really, really kind of cool, and this kind of dovetails some aspects of that. You don't worry though; it's not like overburdened by it. It kind of explains it very subtly. That basically all you have to really know is that Darkseid was responsible for the Great Darkness Saga, and that this planet used to be where he hung out. So we've kind of got this guy on Avalon trying to kind of channel Darkseid through himself, and needless to say, it doesn't go very well. And so basically, we've got that going on alongside Earthman. Earthman last issue declined entry into the Green Lantern Corps. He had one mission and then kind of was just like F this, and kind of left that behind. So Earthman is now being confronted by basically people who want, after Titan exploded in issue 1, they kind of want Earthman to kind of be responsible for getting rid of these Titanians, I guess. Titaniums, San Diegans. And Earthman basically, says that he doesn't want any part of it, that the Legion Ring is going to allow him to do things that he wants his way. So we kind of got this Earthman. We've got a really good Earthman story kind of building under here that I think Paul Levitz is doing a really good job with, because I think Earthman was a really good character that Jeff Johns introduced in his Legion run, and I'm glad that Paul Levitz is kind of running with that. And so you've got that alongside the Avalon with Lightning Lad, Lightning Lass, and Saturn Girl, and combining with that, we've got scenes with the rest of the Legion, kind of dealing with just the Legion. They're going to be doing re-elections. Cosmic Boy's not looking so hot with some of the members of the team. And this is a big book too. This is a 30-pager every month. I kind of was confused with the fill-ins, but it's not so much a fill-in as much as we've got Yulare Sinar and Wayne Foucher doing a lot of the artwork while Francis Portela is contributing, because this is 30 pages every month, which is really cool. I'm kind of glad that it's a bigger price, but there's more pages. So, it's really, Paul Levitz, I think, is really starting to get into his groove. This was a really good issue where a lot happened. That was what I really liked about it, is there's a lot that goes down in this book, and it kind of feels like a bargain to me. Great artwork, too, like I said, by Francis Portela and Yulare Sinar. The transitions were a little bit more obvious in this book than they had been previously, but still not to the point where it made the reading experience terrible. And this issue kind of ends with Earthman kind of going off into the night while some of the members of the Legion still don't trust him. And I'm really kind of interested in where the Earthman story goes. And I'm interested to see if anything else is going to be done with the Great Darkness Saga, considering they're putting out that big hardcover soon that I will almost assuredly be getting. So definitely check out Legion of Superheroes. If you like the Legion of Superheroes, this book is definitely... Paul Levitz is definitely catering to all audiences, I think. He's catering to old school fans and the new fans. And anybody that kind of picked up Jeff's run with the Legion, whether it had been in Legion of Three Worlds or Superman and Legion of Superheroes, both of those kind of were really, really good. So, and kind of set up the Legion for a new audience. So, if you like the Legion, definitely check this stuff out. It's really, really good. That's going to wrap up this segment because I've got 3 more things to talk about. So, I'm going to come back and talk about Wonder Woman 602, Batman 702, and Superman Secret Origin number 6. I'll talk about those. I'll save those for later. And also, in the mail coming soon, I will have 3 books, and I'm probably going to talk about at least one of them. I will have the Infinity Gauntlet premiere hardcover. I will have the Alan Moore, Alan Davis, Captain Britain omnibus, which I've been looking for a long time, and I'm glad I found it. And I will also have the... Invincible Volume 2, the hardcover. I have Invincibles Volume 1 to 3 in trade, but the second hardcover picks up basically where trade 4 would start, so I'm going to start reading those. Anyway, that is going to wrap up this segment, and I will be back in a little while to talk about the rest of the books for this week.